The FBI never intended to walk into a media firestorm, but the moment agents entered Hulk Hogan's Clearwater mansion, they sensed something was wrong. His gym was spotless, the security system disabled, and the surveillance feed cut. A global icon had just died under chilling circumstances, but what they uncovered next was more than strange, it was sinister. Now the world is asking what really happened to Hulk Hogan in his final hours, and what secrets inside his home triggered a federal investigation. What they found was not just evidence, it was a warning that could change everything we thought we knew about the man behind Hulkamania. It began with silence. On the morning of July 24, 2025, Nick Hogan had not heard from his father. That alone was not unusual. Hulk Hogan often enjoyed quiet mornings spent training in his private gym or meditating under the guidance of his wife Sky daily. But something about this day felt different. Sky was away on a short retreat and Nick's texts had gone unanswered. His calls rang through, but no one picked up. Growing uneasy, he decided to drive over. When he arrived, the massive double doors of Hulk Hogan's mansion creaked open without resistance. There was no sign of forced entry, no alarms, no movement. The house, normally filled with the hum of security systems and motion sensors, was completely silent. Nick called out for his dad as he moved through the house, but there was no response. Then he reached the gym. On the mat-lined floor, beneath framed posters of WrestleMania legends and his own championship victories, lay Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan, face down and unresponsive. The air was heavy and still. His skin was pale, his chest unmoving. The man who once ripped shirts before roaring crowds now lay lifeless in the same space where he once defied pain and time. Paramedics were called immediately. They performed CPR and used a defibrillator, but at 11:17 a.m. the call was made. Terry Bollea, age 71, was pronounced dead. Yet something felt wrong. The scene was too perfect. There were no towels, no water bottles, no trace of a recent workout. The familiar scent of sweat and iron was gone. The gym looked sterile and untouched, as if frozen in time. Nick had seen his father training in that same room only the day before. First authorities suspected a heart attack or stroke given Hogan's long history of surgeries and the physical toll of wrestling. But as investigators documented the scene, inconsistencies emerged. The security system had been manually deactivated, not by malfunction or power failure, but from inside the house. Entry logs confirmed it. Cameras were turned off and motion sensors disabled. That was when local police quietly called the FBI. When federal agents arrived, they felt the same eerie stillness. Hogan's mansion, known for its energy and memorabilia, now seemed drained of life. But it was the gym that stopped them cold. No wrestler kept a gym that spotless. The floor showed no recent scuffs or footprints. Fingerprint dusting revealed almost nothing. There were no fresh marks on dumbbells or treadmills. It looked less like a place of training and more like a stage carefully cleaned after a performance. For a man who supposedly died mid-workout, nothing about it made sense. Hogan had invested heavily in home surveillance after multiple public threats and break-in attempts during his peak fame. His Clearwater mansion was equipped with an advanced, custom-installed monitoring system. Cameras covered every angle of the property. Facial recognition software tracked visitors. Motion detectors lined hallways and entry points. The system included emergency fail-safes and alerts. But on July 24th, everything went dark. A full diagnostic check confirmed the worst. The system hadn't failed, it had been shut down intentionally. At 3:13 a.m. that morning, someone accessed the master control panel using the correct PIN code and manually disabled every part of the security grid. Not hacked, not glitched, turned off from inside. That raised a chilling question. Who else had the code? Even more disturbing was what wasn't captured. Hogan was known to lift early, usually by 6 a.m., but the last working footage showed him entering the gym at 5:42 a.m. The feed cut off at 5:43. After that, nothing. No movement, no fall, no emergency, just digital blackness. Agents searched cloud backups and external servers, but there were no glitches or missing uploads. The system had been powered down before anything could be recorded. Whoever was responsible didn't just know the layout of Hogan's home, they knew exactly when to act and how to cover their tracks. Neighbors reported nothing. No vehicles, no noise, no alarms. It was as if whatever had happened occurred in complete silence. By midday, agents had isolated the mansion as a controlled scene. Digital forensics experts were flown in, and every device was seized: phones, tablets, even Hogan's smart refrigerator. Investigators collected dust samples, floor swabs, and microscopic hair fragments. This wasn't routine procedure anymore. This was a full-scale criminal investigation. But the clue that finally shifted the case didn't come from technology. It came from a trembling voice, the one person who had seen Hulk Hogan alive last, his son, Nick. And it all began with a phone call. The timeline was critical. Hogan was last seen alive by Nick Hogan around 5 p.m. on July 23rd. They had dinner together, grilled chicken and steamed vegetables, nothing unusual. Hogan was in good spirits, talking about an upcoming charity event, laughing as he shared old road stories. Then, as Nick prepared to leave, his father's phone rang. Nick remembered it vividly. The ringtone was different, not his usual entrance theme, but a default tone Hogan rarely used. Nick couldn't hear the voice on the other end, but he saw his father's expression change. Within seconds, the smile was gone. His jaw tightened. His eyes began scanning the room, as if he suddenly felt watched. The call lasted less than 2 minutes. When Hogan returned inside, he was quiet. He didn't say who had called, and he never mentioned it again. The last call was unlike any other. Hogan didn't say goodbye in his usual upbeat voice. He simply muttered, "I'll see you tomorrow, brother," and locked the door behind his son. That was the final time Nick Hogan saw his father alive. When questioned by the FBI, Nick recounted this moment in detail. Investigators pulled Hogan's phone records, but the number that had called him didn't match any contact in his log. Instead, it traced through 3 encrypted servers, one in Romania, another in Malaysia, and a final one bouncing through an anonymous satellite relay. In every technical sense, the call was untraceable. Metadata confirmed it. An anonymous, rerouted call had reached Hogan at exactly 9:11 p.m. There was no caller ID, no return number, and no traceable origin. It had come from a network used by professionals, hackers, intelligence operatives, or people determined to stay invisible. The FBI quickly classified it as a key lead in what they now refer to as a high-priority anomalous death investigation.